So I would personally argue that time management is honestly probably one of the hardest things that people struggle with understanding in terms of what are the best ways to do it. And how do I manage my time? There's so many different things that people say and I just don't know which ones to pick, and I'm just so lost. Like, this is probably has been you at some point, and you're probably still in it, or you're trying some stuff that could work. Today's video is more of, I'm going to tell you what I do personally and how I manage my time, and I'm going to try and break it down into why I do it this way, why don't I do something else. I'm just going to spill the beans on what I do personally, and if you want to copy me, go right ahead, because I can tell you I have everything down pat. I even get ahead of like every day. I have a big to-do list every day in terms of what's got to get done, and I usually get more than necessary done with plenty of time left over. So I'm gonna do whatever I can to help you guys out in my similar scenario when I was a couple of years ago. Hello everyone, I'm Jonathan Aquino, and I help teach the next generation. So today, 10 tips. I'm gonna give you 10 time management tips that I personally use. So we're gonna get right into it. First one is a big one: mindset shift. Because time management isn't just physical, it's also mental. You have to control your mental. And while I do two of them. You control your time. So when you say bullshit, like I don't have the time today, it's probably because you didn't make it, because you didn't plan correctly. You wasted time. It's always you. You are at the forefront of how much time you have. You are the controller of your time. Like, you decide what you want to do. If you took too many responsibilities and you're like, damn, I ain't got no time, well, that's your fault. You decide to take all of that time and effort into those things. So of course you have no time. What I did is, there was a semester this last semester I graduated in, I had my internship. I had to write a 20-page essay. I had my business, and I had a couple other like things that kept me busy, and I prioritized on a list, what do I need to, what's the most important thing, and then going down the list, and I would just work through that day. So if my internship was the most important thing that week, that got done first. Then it was schoolwork, then it was etc. Next, the next, and then I got down to the end of the day, and I was on the last thing, and everything got done. You control how you do it. If you have so many things, find ways to control it, where you do a little bit, and the first thing in the morning, you do a little bit. Next thing in the morning, do a little bit. If you need to make time, go to sleep earlier, wake up earlier. That's what I'm doing. I try and do the deepest, hardest work first thing in the morning, so that later on, I'm doing a lot less taxing work that, well, it does matter. It's not the deepest, hardest work, so my brain doesn't have to think as hard on it. So like changing book prices or researching books to purchase in the future for my book business, like that's easy stuff. But recording videos, planning videos like that, I do first thing in the morning, because I know that takes a lot out of me in terms of brain points and all that, which we all have a different level of brain points. But that's the first mindset shift that you need to think about, is you control your time. So if you can't make the time, that's your fault. You have to make the time. If you need a buffer, you should create buffers as well. Think about buffers, but otherwise you control your time. The other one is, you have the choice to be satisfied with your time. So if you go to the end of the day and you think, damn, I did so little work, I didn't do a lot what I wanted, I didn't do this, I didn't do that, I could have done this, I could have done that, and you decide that is unsatisfactory, and you keep doing that over and over and over, you're gonna get to a point where you feel like you're doing nothing, and you're gonna get burnt out, and then you're gonna stop working. It's how it works. You can do what I do. Damn, I didn't do a lot of work, I feel like I could have done more, but you know what? I got shit done, and I'm happy with it. Because this happened a couple of days ago. Timeline wise, on Wednesday, I went to a wrestling show, and I spent 6-7 hours moving the inventory, shelves, you name it. I moved it out of the place I work in, and now I no longer have a physical, or I have a 95% inventory downsizing. So I had to do all that on Wednesday. And on Thursday, I didn't do a whole lot. I think I created the sales page that's in the description below. I created a bit of content, I scheduled a bit of stuff. But in the end, I was like, damn, I didn't feel like I did a whole lot. I could have done nothing, and I'll take it. So instead of being so down on the fact that I didn't do much, I was happy with it because I did something. And you should think about that as well. Be happy with, even if you've done like a little bit of work, be happy you did something, because the other option is doing nothing if you're having slower days and such. So keep that in mind. I would say those are the two like big mindset shifts that I had. Then we have the extreme criteria. This one's pretty simple. If an opportunity presents itself and you're not going hell yeah, as simple as that. If it's not screaming at you, dude, this opportunity is gonna change your life right now if you do it, you better be doing it. But if it's like maybe or nah, it's a waste of your time, don't do it. Just don't do it. As simple as that. Make a to-do list. Just off what I did recently, I just came up with a bunch of stuff that has to get done before the end of the month, before I move out of Virginia, Maryland at this point. And then that's it. So I have like a to-do list of like 12 tasks, and they're just going to get done over time. They're all important to what I have to do. They all mean something. They're all going to get me forward in life. So if you're when you make a to-do list, just keep that in mind. Make sure it's things that actually get you somewhere in life, whether it's relationship wise, work wise, personal wise. Like, it has to do something. It can't just be, I'm gonna play video games for the next 2 hours. Like, no, don't put that shit on your to-do list. That is not a to-do list. That's a waste of your time list. Do you want to waste your time? Because I don't, and I don't want to see you wasting your time. Okay, so make a to-do list of things that are necessary that you have to get done. And if it doesn't get done that day, push it to the next day and make that the priority of the day, so on and so forth. It's pretty easy to do. You got to follow it. You got to do that to-do list and not dilly-dally. Then obviously time blocking. Whoa, who would have guessed? So make sure you set specific times for what you're going to do. For example, I'm working until 7. I take a little break. I work again until about 10:30. I go to the gym till about 11, maybe 12. Then I eat. Like, I have a regimented schedule. You should have a regimented schedule of times you're going to dedicate to stuff that you need to do. Example, you have time blocked every day. If you work a 9 to 5, 9 to 5, you are working. Congratulations, you have time blocked. Then you can do inside that timeception, you can include, all right, so we got a meeting at this time. I'm going to work on this project at this time. Then I'm going to take a small break. I'm going to work on these tasks in the meantime, and so on and so forth. Like, this isn't hard, and you get so much return on your investment in terms of time investment. Just make a calendar. It takes 5 minutes, dude. Genuinely, 5 minutes. Easy. Then this is a new one, actually. Some of the newer ones that I've implemented. The daily highlight principle. So there's always something in my day that I'm always able to look forward to. So for some people, it might be as simple as going to a coffee shop with a friend and just catching up for 10 minutes. For others, it might be like that big event at the end of the day, like a concert or something that they've worked really hard to do. And like the higher end. For me, my daily highlight's always the gym, because I love the gym. I friggin' love the gym. So for me, that's my highlight. So every day I look forward to the gym. And the days I take rest days, I just take that time to just learn and do other stuff. But the daily highlight for me that I always look forward to every day is the gym. So try and find your daily highlight as well. Then we have what is called Parkinson's Law. And to break it down, it's basically the amount of time you give is the amount of time that will take. So if you give yourself a month so if the deadline's a month for an essay, you're going to get it done in a month. If the deadline's a week, you're going to get it done in a week. So what I usually do, and what I did when I was in college, if the deadline was set for 3 weeks, I tried to do it in 2 weeks. Because even if I get it done 2 weeks, I don't have to worry about it. If it's done really poorly, well, I have a week to fix it. Cut the deadlines that you have. This works a lot better in school, but in terms of business and such, it also works. Try and cut the deadlines smaller, so you're not wasting extra time, because you're gonna think, oh, I'm gonna give time to perfect. I'm gonna type up the plan, and then you don't end up doing it because you procrastinate. So shorten how much time you give yourself. Genuinely, you don't need all of that time to do that essay, because I even did it like, okay, you got a week to do it, bucko, and I did it. All right, you got 2 weeks and it's supposed to be done in a month. I did it. So you need to keep that in mind. If a deadline seems really far and you want to get out of the way, shorten it for yourself and stick to it. Next up, we have protected time. So there are points in the day where no one can reach me and I will not reach out to anyone because I want to be left alone so I can do stuff that I want to do. So that time for me is actually right now, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the morning. No one's awake. No one's going to disturb me. No one's going to text me. Like, no one is going to do anything to bother me right now, which is why I'm recording right now. Because if no one's going to text me, then I can just do this and focus on this. So try and find a time in the day, every day, where you just have time for yourself. You do what you want, whatever you want. That's what I do in the morning. That's for me my protected time. If I wasn't recording, I would probably be doing work, or I'd probably be meditating or reading, or something along the lines where it's just me, myself, and I in my happy place. Next up, some of you may be able to do this. Some of you may not be able to do this. It just depends on where you're at. But delegation and automation. If you can delegate some of your work to other people, if there's more important work that you need to focus on, if you can automate some simple busy work, have it automated. Because I can tell you, for example, when I was still a smaller seller on Amazon, we had 100 books. I would individually reprice them, and that took me about an hour. And then I got to a point where would it make more sense for me to pay the software like $8 that does it for me, or is it better for me to continue spending 2 hours a day like doing that? Like, no, obviously, if I can get back those $2 a day, that's 14 hours a week I get back sourcing that I can do whatever I want with. If you can find ways to delegate easier work, easier projects, easier tasks onto people that you can trust, or people that need to do it so that you can focus on the more important stuff, do it 100%. When I was teaching as well, whenever there were students that weren't paying attention in class or that were not fully understanding the content that I was teaching or stuff like that, I would have the supporting instructors take them to the side and teach them and practice with them the stuff that we were going over. So if it was, let's say, some new kids here and they got to do their white belt test, one of the instructors is going to deal with that, because that is not my issue. My issue is the whole class. So someone else is going to deal with it. One student is not understanding because they're a bit newer and this stuff is very difficult. Another instructor going to take them to the side, teach him, because I have an entire class to teach. It's that stuff. So if you can have other people do the smaller stuff where you focus on the big stuff, that is a lot very good. Now, the last thing is the 80-20 rule. 80% of your results are dictated by 20% of your work. So right now on YouTube, I'm actually I feel like I'm doing very well in terms of where I was a couple weeks ago, because the main thing that I have to do to get progress on YouTube is record. On LinkedIn, the main thing that I have to do to make any progress in terms of improving my personal brand is make content. And because of that, this past week, I freaking woke up to a 15,000 impressions on it and 20 new follows. Biggest thing that I have to do is buy the books and send the books. So if you can figure out what gives you all that progress and focus on that as your deep work task, you will make much more progress. So I've given you 3 examples. For YouTube, it's recording. For books, it's buying the books and sending them. For content brand creation, posting content, you have to figure out what is giving you the most results. I agree. Connecting with people on LinkedIn, commenting back on comments, responding to emails, that stuff is important. But is it the most important thing? Because I would wager, no, it's not. There are other things more important. So you need to decide what is the most important, figure out what that is, and then everything else, do it later. So that's what I do for my time management. And I would take away a couple of these and start trying to implement these into your day-to-day. So over time, you get to acquire new habits that take time to build, and you'll see just how much time you save. Because genuinely, I got time. Time is always on my side, man. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you want to get even better at time management, there's a link down below where you and I can get into a one-on-one coaching sales call. We'll see if we're compatible, and I'm gonna do everything in my power to make sure you have even better time management skills than I do. I'm gonna do everything in my power to make sure you are a much higher level than I am. Like, that's my goal, bro. All right, take care, guys.